intercultural communication, competence, and international exchanges, which is a very nice topic in today's conference. So let's welcome him.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to have this chance to give a presentation here. First, I want to thank Professor Yang to invite me to give a presentation here. Today, my topic is intercultural communication, competence, and international exchanges. I think this is an important topic because in such a globalized society, we have more and more chances to communicate with people from different countries. So it is important to talk about such kind of competence. And then if we want to cultivate, we want to enhance our intercultural communication competence, it is also an important approach for us to play. Okay. For us, international exchange is an important approach for us to enhance the intercultural competence. So I choose this topic to share with you about my ideas and my research on this topic. In this presentation, I would like to first introduce the meaning of culture and the characteristic of communication. Then I will use a model, a contextual model of intercultural communication to talk about how context affect our communication. And then I would use two examples to explain how cultures would affect our communication. Then I will go into the intercultural communication competence section. And first I will introduce the definition. Then I would give you the model, Theodorf's model of intercultural competence. And then I would like to use this model as a framework to analyze how primary school students applied their intercultural communication competence to the international exchange activities. At the end, I will give you some conclusions about my study. I think I put too much slides on this part, so maybe I won't finish this part, and I will look at it. It depends on how many times left I would go through it. First, the meaning of culture. A British culture analyst, Raymond Williams, he said he analyzed that there are five meanings of culture. At the very beginning, the culture, this word means the process of tending something, basically crops or animals. In other words, nature creatures. However, between 16th century and the 18th century, the nature creatures has been replaced by human being. So the culture, this word the meaning has been changed to the process of human development. And from 18th century, the meaning has been changed to general process of intellectual, spiritual, and aesthetic development. And related to this definition is the works and the practice of intellectual and especially artistic activities. And this is the most popular definition when we talk about culture nowadays. And the last one is, especially for anthropology, they use this definition quite often. They say culture is a particular way of life, whether of a people, a period, a group, or humanity in general. From this definition, you can see culture almost contains everything in our life. So I want to use this picture to explain what's culture.
The iceberg.
Oh, the same. Oh, okay. Actually, we arranged it before this conference. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. All right, and iceberg. This iceberg, many people will use iceberg as a metaphor, as an analogy to describe what's culture. And you can see above the water line, this is service culture. And beneath the water line, this is deep culture. And for service culture, you can use your five senses to perceive it. For example, you can listen, you can speak language, you can see the beautiful architecture, you can taste different foods, you can listen to music, and you can feel your clothes, you can touch your clothes, feel the texture of your clothes, right? And you can have leisure activities at the weekend. And when you do the leisure activities, you can enjoy the paintings in the museum, and you can read the novels. And then you can, when you talk to others, you have your gestures, and to help you express your ideas. And also you have your emotional displays. Well, for example, your facial expressions when you speak to others. And these all are service culture. And when we talk about deep cultures, there are several dimensions. The first one is communication styles and rules. And there are different, I just give you some example. For example, facial expression, gesture, and body language, and eye contact, personal space, and touching, and the tone of voice. These kind of rules and styles. And notions and the concepts, for example, courteous and manners, leadership, self, fairness, and justice. And next one is attitude. We have different attitudes between different persons, such as attitudes toward age, adolescence, elder death, or work rule. And next one is convictions. We have our own beliefs about human natures and our moral convictions and religious convictions. And next one, I want to talk about the communication. There are maybe 6 or 7 characteristics of communication. The first feature of communication is symbolic. When we talk to others, we would use several symbols to organize and to become a message. Then we use message to communicate to others. So symbol is very important unit when we talk to others. A symbol is a word, name, action, or object that represents a unit of meaning. And next one, communication is interpretive. When we receive a message, we have to interpret it. And then when we interpret, we will produce our own understanding. This is the first purpose we want to achieve. Then the second purpose we want to achieve is we want to achieve agreement with others through this communication, right? And next one, communication is transactional. It's a two-way process. We don't just receive message, we also send our message to others. So it's a transaction process. Then communication is contextual. I will talk about this later, but basically every communication is situated in a specific context. And then communication is a process, and communication involves shared meanings. And next one, I want to introduce a contextual model. Here you can see there are two persons, the person from group culture A and the person from culture B. And there are three broad layers of context. The biggest one, the broadest one is this one. We call it culture context, maybe. Yeah, this one, culture context. When we talk about culture context, I don't want to read this one, but I just give you a broad ideas. Generally, we refer it to the culture of a country, such as Japanese culture, Taiwanese culture, and a Korean culture, something like that. It's a broad idea. Now, when we talk about a culture of a country, then you can think about each country has their own language system. Each country has their own values, their own behavior styles. So this would affect how you communicate with others. Next one is microculture context. Microculture context refers to different group within a country. Those group has their own cultures. For example, younger generation they will prefer mobile phone to communicate with each other. But for me, I don't like mobile phone very much. So maybe for me, the younger generation like to use line to talk to each other, but it's not my cup of tea. Next one, environmental context. Environmental context represents the physical geographical location or the interaction of the interaction. Environmental context, for example, when we talk to others in school, maybe it's different from when we talk with our family in our home. So this is environmental context. And next one is social relation context. And when we talk to others, we may have different people we talk to. For example, parents to children, teacher to students. This is all different kinds of social relationship. And sometimes we would change our communication style, depends on who we talk to. And next one is perceptual context. Perceptual context means your personality. So different person, they have different personality, they will have different communication styles. Maybe some will be more talkative, but others maybe not so talkative or not so like to express their feeling in the public. Then I want to use two examples to demonstrate how culture would affect our communication. And the first one is I want to use this film to compare what's the difference between Germany and China. And the next one, I want to use this film to let you know that different people has different interpretation of cleaning the plate. However, I want to remind you here, don't stereotype the groups in the example. Maybe we can say, generally speaking, the country of the people in this country would follow this kind of behavior, a pattern of behavior. However, not everyone would follow this pattern of behavior. Be careful. On the first example, I'm not very skillful. Use my finger with the plate. If anyone can help me. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to say the original version is Germany versus China. But afterward, I don't know who translated to this kind of Western versus Eastern. But anyway, I just use these two. I want to confine it to Germany versus China. And here you can see this is the communication style. In Germany, people tend to express their idea directly, but in China, maybe in Taiwan, we don't express our idea directly, and this is how culture would affect our communication style. And this one, in China, when people are angry, they don't show their anger on their face. And in Germany, if they are angry, they will show their anger on their face. So this is another different kind of communication, because your facial expression would help you communicate to others. And next one. In China or in Chinese society, relationship is very important. So if you have a good relationship with your partner, it's very easier for you to do anything. And so this is, from here you can see, in Chinese society, the context is very complicated. But in Germany, there is not so complicated interrelationship between people. Okay. This is perception of each other. And similar to the communication style, Chinese people is not so direct. And again, the Chinese people, they don't directly resolve the problem. They will try to avoid the different parts. But for people in Germany, they would directly resolve the problem. I don't know if you agree with this one. Maybe some of you don't agree with this one. Okay. You agree? This is another interesting one. In Chinese society, self is very small. But in Germany, self is bigger. It means where is your position in a society? Or how important individual is in a society. In an individualist society, self is very important. It's more important than the group. But in a collectivist society, self is not so important. The group is the most important, and we have to sacrifice for our group. This is a repeat. This is punctuality. Not in Taiwan. I don't agree with this one. When I have a stomach ache, I don't drink tea. This is another interesting one. This is related to a power distance. You can see in Germany, basically they are equal society. The boss and the employees, they are on the same position. They are equal, so their power distance is short. But in Chinese society, the power distance is huge. So the boss has a higher status, has more power, it has more authority than their employees. And because of different power distance, we have different communication style. For example, in Germany, the employees they feel easy to challenge their boss. But in Chinese society, maybe the employee won't challenge the boss, or if they want to propose different opinion, they will say it very directly. And maybe this one will change this side because one child policy will be changed. Yeah, this is another. This is individualist society. Then this is collectivist society. Right. This is the first example, and I want to show you another example. I don't know if you think about the question before. When you go abroad and you visit your friends, family, and being a guest, would you finish the food in your plate provided by your host? Because different people will have different interpretation of this action. Let's look at this advertisement from HSBC. Okay. All right. I want to use this advertisement to demonstrate, to tell you that just show you the script for this advertisement. For English, they think it's a good manner to clear your plate, because it means, oh, your food is very delicious, great. But in Chinese society, they would think, wow, you finish it, you are still hungry, you want more. So, and just this action, it has a specific meaning. It's very simple, but it's amazing. Different culture has different interpretation of this action. Right, now I want to go to the second part of my presentation, intercultural communication competence. First, I want to give you a definition of intercultural communication. And basically, this definition is a combination of the feature of combination I just mentioned before. Intercultural communication is a symbolic, interpretive, translational, and contextual process in which people from different cultures create shared meanings. And the most important is it's a process. It's a dynamic process. Right? And next one, intercultural communications occurs when large and important cultural differences create dissimilar interpretations and expectations about how to communicate competently. And next, I would use Theodorf's definition to introduce that what's intercultural communication competence. It means the ability to communicate effectively and appropriately in intercultural situations based on one's intercultural knowledge, skills, and attitudes. And here you can see there are 3 dimensions of so-called competence. The first one is knowledge, and then skills and attitude. And when we judge others' intercultural communication competence, we have 2 criteria. The first criteria is effectiveness, and the second criteria is appropriateness. And just give you a definition of what's appropriateness. Appropriateness means the action of the communicators fit the expectation and the demands of the situation. And effectiveness refers to the action of the communicators achieve desired outcomes. So this is 2 criteria, a very important criteria when we talk about communication competence. Now I want to introduce Theodorf's model of intercultural competence. I want to explain more that here I use intercultural competence, and for my topic of this presentation, I use intercultural communication competence. But these 2 terms are used interchangeably in academic field. All right, and so in this case, Theodorf used this term, intercultural competence. So I just follow her. And in Theodorf's model, his model is a pyramid model, and there are 5 dimensions of so-called competence. And the first dimension, and this is also the most fundamental and important dimension, is attitude. Because for Theodorf, he thinks if we have a positive attitude towards others' culture and then we are more willing to learn others' culture and more willing to get in contact with others. And this is very important for our development of our knowledge of other culture and our skills, intercultural competence skills. And in this dimension, we have 3 competence. The first one is respect. The next one is openness. The last one is curiosity and discovery. Don't worry, I will show it later. And in the dimension of knowledge and comprehension, we have 4 competences. The first one is cultural self-awareness, and the second one is deep understanding and knowledge of our culture, and then culture-specific information and social-linguistic awareness. I will explain this later. And skills to listen, observe, and interpret, and also to analyze, evaluate, and relate. And these 2 dimensions is interacted with each other, because if you have good skills to listen to others, to observe the cultural phenomena, then you can produce more knowledge, you can obtain more cultural knowledge. And also, if you have more cultural knowledge, you can interpret, you can analyze, you can evaluate other cultures better. So these 2 dimensions is interacted with each other. And the 4th dimension is desired internal outcome. There are 4 competences: adaptability, flexibility, ethno-relative view, and empathy. And the last one, the top one, is desired external outcome. This means behaving and communicating effectively and appropriately to achieve our own goals to some degree. All right. Dieldorf's model can also be demonstrated in a loop. So this is a process model. You can see there are two stages. The first stage is individual stage, and the second stage is interaction stage. And in the first stage, people would accumulate their attitudes, accumulate their knowledge and skill, and in this stage, they learn such kind of competence. Then they go to second stage, they they go into the real contact with people from different culture. So they applied their competence in this situation, in this stage. Then they got internal outcome and got external outcome. Luckily, if the result is very positive, then this will go back to the attitude. Then the person will form a more positive attitude to other culture, other people in different countries, then go to another loop. All right. So it's a keep on going process. Now I want to use Dieldorf's model as a framework to talk about my research finding about primary school students' application of intercultural communication competence to international exchange activities. Let me give you some ideas about intercultural exchanges activities in Taiwan. In Taiwan, some primary school, they hold such kind of activities. They would build a partnership with school in other countries. Generally, they visit each other on a regular basis, maybe every year or every 2 years. And for students, when they visit other school, they call it study tour. And in study tour, the students would attend the class with their buddies. And also at the weekend or after school, they will stay with their buddies' family and to understand, to immerse in the local life, to understand their local culture. And those participant students are selected based on their language ability and their adaptability and their personality. So they are selected. And first, attitudes. The first one is respect. Generally speaking, these students, according to my observation, they can value other cultures, they can value cultural diversity when I analyze the data. For example, Qing, this student, she admired Indian culture before, so she loved it before he went to America. And then she said, I admired Indians before and I couldn't believe I have the props to perform. And this is really cool. And for cultural diversity, the student Qing recognized that Singapore has many cultures worthy of learning. And this is another one. And openness. Openness is not that easy for primary school students because they have fewer opportunity to contact the foreigners, especially for students from countries. So I want to use one example to show that the student Fang, he said when he was in Singapore, after arriving Changi Airport, I was very scared because most of airport staff were black. Actually, they are not black. They just have darker skin than us, not black. All right. Then it felt like you enter a black society. And in Mandarin, when we say black society, it means gangland, right? And then I am not saying black people are all bad. I seldom see black people, so So you can see if a student never see such kind of different color skin people, they might feel afraid of them. This is another case is in New Zealand. Ting said, when I saw Morris, I was scared, just like this one. By then, at the beginning. However, I was attracted by their performance later. So, at the very beginning, students were shocked. Why people looks different, very different from us, right? And next one, curiosity and diversity. On curiosity, this student Chen said, because this is my first time of going abroad, I'm very happy and excited, and every day I'm curious and want to know everything, especially foreigners. And because students, generally speaking, those students, this is their first time to go abroad, so they are very curious. However, not in every situation they are all very happy to discover new things. Sometimes they will feel worried, they will feel anxious. This is the case. Seeing these students, because he has gone in inflammation, so he has to see doctor because he cannot eat food. This is a serious problem. And when he went to see the doctor, this is his diary. The decoration and the equipment in the clinic were similar to those in Taiwan. But I was anxious and then cried because I couldn't understand what the dentist talked to the Tara, his host family mother. And at that moment, in the diagnosing and the treating process, I laid on the dental chair, but I couldn't understand what the doctor said, except please open your mouth or take X-ray. I don't know what the doctor would do next either. Therefore, I'm very anxious. So for us primary students, not just primary students, everyone go abroad. If we cannot predict what will happen next, basically we will feel anxious. And this is what we have to overcome when we go abroad. If you want to keep yourself curious, keep yourself finding new things, you have to tolerate the ambiguity and the uncertainty. I think this is an important part. The next one is knowledge and comprehension. And first one is cultural self-awareness. Cultural self-awareness refers to becoming aware of how cultures we are raised in contribute to our identity, patterns of behavior, and values and ways of thinking. In short, we have to notice how our own culture affects our behavior, our mindset, our thinking style. And this looks very difficult, but I feel amazed that students can achieve it. Later, I will give you an example. Let me talk about this first. Self-cultural awareness is the foundation for intercultural competence because understanding one's own culture makes it easier to, first, recognize other cultural practices. Second, anticipate where cultural differences are greater, then be better prepared for those cultural change. And I want to use a case to give you the idea that students achieve this competence. Ping, this student, not just this student, there are several students, they talk about this in their diary. He said in America, he said the first afternoon class was Spanish because the phonics of Spanish is very different from that of English. We invent Chinese character phonics to help us pronounce Spanish. So this is the way they try to help themselves. And from this, you can see students can notice that they use Chinese their own culture as a tool to understand, to learn other language, right? And next one is deep understanding knowledge of culture. And deep understanding knowledge of culture includes context, role, and impact of culture and other worldviews. And worldview refers to notions about the way of the world is. And there are 8 issues when we talk about worldviews. I won't read this through, but in the next slide, I want to focus on this one. What is our relationship with nature? Some people will think we should control, we should conquer the natural world. We should utilize the natural world. It depends on our will. However, others might say we should have an adaptive, also a friendly attitude toward our natural world. So this student, Chen, when he was in New Zealand, he has such kind of thoughts. I think it's very thoughtful. And just look at this. When traveling in the South Island, I experienced nature beauty of New Zealand, and the New Zealanders' kind and friendly attitude. This enriched my understanding of New Zealand. I had a strong feeling when enjoying the beautiful scenery along the way. Most countries make every effort to develop industry in order to strengthen national power, but neglect the importance of nature ecology. The ecological conversation by New Zealand government is worth learning for other countries. So from here, you can see the students can understand New Zealand government's attitude toward nature, their worldview. Next one, culture-specific information. Culture-specific information refers to the information about cultural elements in specific cultural settings. For example, we can say there are a Chinese culture, there are certain countries' culture, or there are certain ethnic groups' culture. The process of obtaining the information is called culture-specific learning. For example, students can experience the custom of Halloween in America and also learn Maori people's haka. Haka in New Zealand is just like the picture show. Next one is social linguistic awareness. And social linguistic awareness, social linguistic studies the difference of language practice between different communities and groups, and the relationship between social and the linguistic forces and the language change, and how language can reveal social relationships and the relationships between different languages within and across communication. I think it's not that difficult to understand the first one, the difference of language practice. But I just show you a short film. I think maybe you are quite familiar with the British English and American English. All right. And for primary school students, they can distinguish different language practice. For example, this student noticed that New Zealanders' English pronunciation and the accent are different from those of English that she learned in Taiwan. Because in Taiwan, basically how we learn is American English, but New Zealand is a British English, right? And also, our students can change their language communication style. It depends on the social relationship. They can understand different relationship will have different kind of language practice. For example, this is provided by a principal. She said in America, the students, for example, the students could talk everything with their summer camp coaches, but when meeting persons in the position of leadership, they could use courteous language. They could do it. So maybe students didn't notice, conceptually notice they doing so, but they did do so. And skills, I don't think I can finish this part, so I want to skip it. Go to, because I have been, the file has been saved here, so if you have, you are interested in this, please just download this one. I think that's fine. Let me show the last of and go to my conclusions. The first conclusions is, the first one is, language acquiring is not sufficient for intercultural and international communication. Just learn language is not enough for you to communicate with others in different countries. And next one, intercultural communication competence is a synthesis of attitude, knowledge, and the skill. So it's not enough just have the linguistic language ability. You have to have a positive attitude. You have to know how to interact with others, not just language, but also your nonverbal language. You also have to know the culture, know the cultural context. This will help you understand and appropriately deliver your message. And then intercultural contact does not necessarily lead to intercultural communication competence. You can see from my analysis, for students, if they just go abroad, it's not for them to develop such kind of language ability or tolerate ambiguity and uncertainty. Teachers has to help them to achieve this. And so the last conclusion is, in order to enhance students' intercultural communication competence, intervention strategies are required before, during, and after international exchanges activities. Before students go abroad, the teacher has to help students to accumulate their intercultural attitude, knowledge, and skills. And during the exchange process, the teacher have to give them more opportunity to contact with others, to apply their competence in the real situation. And then after the international exchange, the teacher should lead the reflection activity to think about what's your performance in this real situation and how to improve your intercultural competence in the future and go to another circle. I think this is the most important part. I think this is my presentation. Thank you. Thank you for your listening.
Thanks for Professor Huang the presentation. And do you have any questions you want to ask the Professor Huang?
Thank you, Professor, for your presentation. I'm really interested about your presentation because it's related to my study right now, intercultural communication. And then I want to compare between Taiwanese culture and then my own culture, Indonesian culture. And then my question is, I have one case here. I ever asked some students, undergraduate students in NCYU, and then some of them said to me that it's not easy for Taiwanese students to communicate their ideas in the class, especially when the teacher is an American teacher. In that case, the students have like one American teacher in the class. That when they want to ask something or maybe communicate one question to the teacher, it's difficult for them. So my question is, what should the teacher do to emphasize, maybe to encourage the students to communicate in the class, the American teacher? Because we know that most of Asian students, it's not easy to communicate, to share their ideas in the class. Thank you. This for the teacher.